Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be exploring some of the world's most daring escape attempts. These all occurred after the fall of the Nazi Party during World War II. With the German territory in tatters, the remnants were split between the East and West powers. After a few years, the relationships between the two great powers soured immensely and the Berlin Wall was erected in 1961. It stood as a symbol of division between East and West Germany, becoming an iconic representation of the Cold War's geopolitical tensions. The Berlin Wall's construction in 1961 by the German Democratic Republic aimed to halt the mass exodus of East Germans seeking a better life in Western Germany. It wasn't only a physical barrier, but a representation of the Iron Curtain, a tangible manifestation of the division between the West and East ideologies. The wall, which was literally constructed and set up overnight, had immediate tragic consequences. Families were torn apart, friendships severed, and their hopes were buried under the concrete and barbed wire that divided a nation. The wall stood as a stark reminder of the iron-fisted grip of the GDR's communist regime. The police were brutal and relentless in their persecution of people trying to flee from the GDR. It wasn't in the interest of the state to have defectors leaving the country, especially because these people would then become living and free-speaking critics of the regime. Of course, many families stuck on the eastern side of the wall were extremely unhappy, which in turn led to them taking drastic measures. With no other way out other than escape, the following three examples will illustrate the gravity of the situation and the extraordinary lengths people went to escape them. In September of 1979, amidst the oppression of the Berlin Wall, two families defied the odds by planning and executing an audacious escape from East to West Germany using a homemade hot air balloon. Peter Strelzik and Gunter Wetzel, along with their wives and children, meticulously designed and built a balloon in secret, using materials as humble as bedsheets and tarpaulins. This escape required not only courage, but extraordinary engineering skill. The families calculated weight, volume, and the required materials to construct a 4,000 cubic meter balloon that would lift the 8 passengers and the craft itself. Despite the challenges of acquiring materials discreetly and sewing the massive balloon, the families managed to take off from a field in East Germany under the cover of darkness around 2 a.m. The flight lasted 28 minutes, and they climbed all the way up to 8,100 feet, just outside the East German spotlights. They landed in a West German town called Naila, with the balloon and narrowly avoiding power lines during their crash landing. The only reported injury was from Wetzel, who suffered a broken leg. After landing, they were reunited with their families and decided to stay and live the rest of their lives out in Naila. Upon learning of the daring escape, East Germany enlisted new restrictions to their population. Propane gas tanks became registered products, and large quantities of fabric suitable for balloon construction could no longer be purchased. The story of Tunnel 57, the most successful tunnel escape in the history of the Berlin Wall, further illustrates the profound risks and determination in escaping across the Berlin Wall. 35 West Berliners, including Wolfgang Futsch, the future astronaut Reinhard Führer, and Joachim Neumann, an engineering student who had previously escaped into West Berlin, helped to build the tunnel from April to October of 1964. The group's finished product was a tunnel that measured 145 meters long at a depth of 12 meters, which had a secret entrance from the cellar of a bakery in East Berlin. The organizers of the tunnel had contacted around 120 people in East Berlin and planned for their escape on October 3rd and 4th. As the night started, they successfully started smuggling people across to freedom. In total, 57 people made it across safely before tragedy struck. As the night dragged on, a few of the border guards on patrol noticed something was amiss. They sent a few plainclothes officers to the door of the bakery who quickly realized what was happening and called for backup. One of the diggers standing by the door saw them coming and crept back through the tunnel to warn the others. In the confusion that followed as the students and would-be escapists scrambled, a few shots were exchanged and a young East German border guard was shot, and he later died on the way to the hospital. With the tunnel exposed, it was quickly shut down and severe consequences were handed out. The border guard's death turned him into a martyr for East Germany as they used his image to intensify their propaganda. His murder was blamed on young West German radicals by the East German government, although the people who had managed to escape via the tunnel had a simple response. The causative murderer is the East German secret police, the letter read. The real murderer is the system that addressed the massive flight of its citizen not by removing the cause of the problem, but by building a wall and giving the order for Germans to shoot Germans. Another remarkable tale of defiance against the Berlin Wall involves Heinz Meixner, a young West German in love with a girl from East Germany. This occurred early on when the wall's defenses weren't as built up as the years that followed, but the story still captivates. Faced with the harsh reality that the legal means to bring his fiancée back to the West had failed, Meixner resorted to an unconventional plan. In 1963, Meixner, along with his fiancée and her mother, hidden in a convertible, drove to the Berlin Wall. Under the cover of night, Meixner had removed the windshield, deflated the car's tires, and sped towards the barrier. Maneuvering around guards and concrete barriers, he expertly navigated the obstacles, and with heart-stopping tension, drove under the barrier that represented freedom in the West. This bold act of love and courage showcased the extent in which individuals were willing to chase the pursuit of freedom. These three remarkable stories from the Berlin Wall, utilizing a homemade hot air balloon, a daring drive in a convertible, and the construction of an elaborate tunnel, embody the relentless spirit in the face of political oppression. They signify not just the desire for freedom, but also the unwavering resilience and innovative thinking of individuals seeking to reunite with loved ones and break free from the shackles of an oppressive regime. The Berlin Wall's fall in 1989 marked the end of an era of division and represented the triumph of human determination and unity over segregation and oppression. These escapes, amongst many others, stand as testaments to the strength of human will and the pursuit of freedom, love, and the hope amid seemingly unsurmountable barriers. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, and hopefully we will see you in the next one.